Okay. Let me let people know that my stream is live. Okay. Yes, and it's a Silva. I haven't seen you in forever, Silva. Uh, get to this. Okay. Yeah, I agree that there was a hurricane. Get this set up so I can keep track of what's happening in chat. Okay. All right. Oh, whoop. Oh, almost had the audio playing. So what I do is I open the stream on my phone in order to be able to keep track of chat while I'm on other screens besides OBS. And I forgot to like turn down the volume on my phone, so I was hearing an echo of myself for a second coming out of the phone. Okay. What am I doing? I'm getting distracted. I'm supposed to be making sure people know that the stream is live. Okay. All right, let's switch over to just chatting screen. There we go. I have mixed feelings about it. So I don't know if you understand, if you know the circumstances, Nekomaji, but Silva kind of twisted my arm into doing it before stream, and that's normally my time to decompress and prep for stream, and I did it because Silva wanted to. Putting you on blast here, Silva. But because of the timing, having just watched it and not having a chance to really process it, I don't understand exactly what I saw. Like I need time to process what I saw. So I don't know whether I will enjoy it, whether I can say I enjoyed it or not. And like I know like I could have just said no. I could have just told Silva no, I don't want to do this before stream. But like, you know, Silva did bring up a really good point that this lets us start the next season the next time we watch anime night together, we get around, instead of waiting the 2 weeks or whatever till we get around to watching it again and leaving it on that cliffhanger. So it is what it is. I'm not blaming Silva. I'm saying that that's just what happened. And Silva was right. I just haven't had a chance to emotionally process it. It's like, at first, when they were doing the finale of season 2, no, I don't like to blame people. I don't like to throw drama or shade. It's just, it's a lot to process. For the end of an episode, like I didn't really have time to really process a lot of stuff with it. And like, you'll figure it out eventually, Silva? Okay. Okay, Silva, let me know how you figure that out to make it Nibiru's fault. So my thing with Symphogear that like Silva, so that's hard. Yeah, you told me that, Silva. I don't know if it's just that I'm getting older and my preferences in anime are changing, but like I think I've told you this before, I have much less of a tolerance for fan service in anime. Like some shows where it's so blatant it becomes part of the plot. I kind of just accept and grin and bear it. But like those transformation sequences are like just turning into this fan service thing. So like that gets really distracting and it's kind of awkward. And Silva told me that like in the next season it gets even worse. And that doesn't really make me want to keep watching. Like, I I don't well, no, I enjoy henshin sequences. I enjoy transformation sequences. Um, but the whole like having them get completely nude and then focusing on their butt and like focusing on like different areas of the body as the armor is transforming on just doesn't super like it just kind of makes me a little uncomfortable. And like I'm at the point right now where I'm just like, okay, whatever. But then Silva tells me it gets worse next season. And so just knowing that it gets worse next season, it just doesn't give me a whole lot of encouragement. I was hoping that this season would end in some way that I might be able to consider just not continuing to watch it. But it ends essentially on a cliffhanger. Like they, you know, it it ends with them defeating like one enemy, but then talking about the possibility of another one on the horizon. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. Give me 1 second. And I'm back. I had to adjust myself. I had to put on a pair of sweatpants in case it gets chilly down here. It's really weird, like needing to know if I need to put on sweatpants or if I need to put on a hoodie while I'm down here streaming, because like the furnace is down here and when it kicks on, it can get kind of warm down here. But the furnace doesn't kick on unless somebody turns on the heat from upstairs if they get cold upstairs. And it's been really hot recently. So since it's been hot, no one's been turning on the heat. So it's been getting kind of chilly down here. So it's funny having to go back. Like, it's weird. We had those few days of really cold, and then it just suddenly went to being really warm these last couple days. Oh, Furry, is that name sounds familiar? Is that the one that's like, I didn't want to get hurt, so I put all my stats in defense? Is that the one? Yeah. Yeah. It it gives a lot of like really weird and yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I think I've seen like the whole first episode and some other clips and pieces throughout the show. So I have a general idea of what's happening. Um it's not. At first, I wanted to like it, right? Because I love playing tanks. And I love characters that use shields, right? Um, which is why I wish Shield Hero wasn't so much of an edgelord. But that's a different hill to die on. But I just couldn't get into it. I think I saw a reviewer talk about the show that said it's essentially kind of like K-On! Where it's cute girls doing cute things with a side of like fantasy VR MMO. And I can't really get into that kind of a show. Like, there's a reason I never finished K-On! Even though I love music. Yeah. Also, I saw someone break down some stuff about the game design, and because I saw someone do a video essay on the game design from that show, and how like these abilities are like based on how they're worded and how she earns them, they have to be randomly generated. And for any developer putting together a game with those kinds of randomly generated skills, with randomly generated activation conditions, that would be a crazy game to develop, and it would be even worse game to play, because one of the key parts of MMOs is planning out your build, is planning out what you're going to do in order to optimize your character. And if the only thing you have control over is your stats, if your actual abilities are randomly generated and you randomly earn them, then there's not really anything, like, besides where you put your stat points when you level up, there's not really anything you can do it. Yeah, she's acting outside the meta. And that also, if it is being done by an AI and not just randomly generated, that means the AI is trying to build skills for an expected path for the player, and their system is over specialized. And that also is a sign of bad game design, that it is so over specialized it cannot handle players doing something outside, like going far outside the norm. And as a developer, you have to plan for that. You have to plan for, is my player going to try to run against this wall 50 times to see if it breaks down? That reminds me of that movie, Ready Player One. I never saw the movie, but I saw clips and pieces of it. Actually, I think I might have seen the whole thing once, or like saw it like halfway through, but I've seen all the key parts in clips. And I was watching this clip of the race, right? And that completely, like, that right there is complete shenanigans. So, but yeah, I was watching this video that was talking about, that wasn't talking about, it was a clip of the race from Ready Player One. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the gimmick in the movie, spoiler alert if you've never seen Ready Player One, the gimmick for the race is that you have to, when everyone thinks that they have to go forwards, but they always get defeated by the obstacles in the race. But the trick is you have to go backwards, and when you start going backwards, it leads you down uh into an underground thing where you're going under the race and you're going backwards underneath the race, and that's how you complete the race, by driving backwards. And one person said in the comments that, like, that just seems ridiculous that no one would have thought of that. Like, the person was saying, when me and my brother used to play games like that with racing games, we would try going in reverse at the start of the race just to see what happened. You know, and that's just like, as a developer, you have to plan for what happens if at the start of the race someone presses the reverse button instead of the go button. And like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm getting more developed or more into game design, because I'm dabbling my feet in baby's first game engine um with RPG Maker. But like, I know that's something I'm going to have to think about whenever I build my actual game. Also, Nibiru, do you remember if I showed chat the multicolor switches? Oh, I read something. Oh, that makes sense. You know, if I showed chat, because you would know, because I don't talk to you anywhere but chat. If I showed chat the dungeon I designed in RPG Maker with the multicolored switch puzzle. Okay. Well, so because I know I showed it to people at anime night. I remember showing it to people at anime night because I was really proud because I'd been working on it. But I don't remember if I showed it to chat. You've been reading some dungeon manga, so everything's all kind of mixed up. Well, if we have time later on in the stream, I'll probably show you all. And maybe I'll tinker with it some more. The dungeon. So how was everyone's week? What did everyone get up to? I know Silva's still recovering from the whatchamacallit, from the hurricane. What about you, Nekomaji? Do you get any stuff done this week? Accomplish any goals? Get any writing done? Oh, you worked on your avatar. Is that like, are you putting together like a virtual personality like for VTubing on Nekomaji? Or is this just like an OC that is like your primary OC that you very much identify with? Or are you making like a stylized self-portrait? And you read a few different mangas. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. Using Vroid. You can get a lot of, especially if you're not doing like streaming or commercial stuff. Um, you can get a lot of free or really cheap assets for Vroid through Booth. Have you heard of Booth? Nekomaji? Great. Hmm. Oh my gosh. So, I was so it's weird. Thursdays are always weird for me because like we do anime night before uh the Vroid. In some cases I would just put it in an editing program to recolor properly. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I've heard of some people also doing some editing in Blender too in order to prep the stuff for recording and stuff and for VR chat. Honestly, Vroid is such a huge thing. It really lowered the barrier to entry for being a VTuber. Like one day I do want to get a 2D, like uh a live 2D avatar made. Um but that's that's going to be further down the road. That's going to be when things are more stable for me. I've never messed with MMDs before, but I've heard about them. Hmm. The fact that Vroids come together and they come pre-rigged with some basic expressions and some basic motions, pre-rigged is such a huge, that's such a big deal. Like, it, it's really amazing how far technology's come. I've had a couple people, that I live with ask me about making a 3D avatar, and like one of them I sent a link to a tutorial on it because I'm like, as much as I love the people I live with, I don't know that I would have the patience to sit down and explain to another person how to use Vroid because I barely understand how to use Vroid. and there's no way that I would be able to explain something that I barely understand myself. Like setting up OBS, setting up stream elements, setting up you know, setting up sources in OBS and all that stuff. I've been doing that for 4 years now. You know, I've been. Yeah, I mean, even the thing is, as far as getting outfits to fit properly, even Vroid has its weaknesses. Like, I'm sure some of you remember how I used to have on my shoulders those brown spots that would poke up. It was because the shirt layer wasn't properly aligned, and I don't know how to properly align it. So I just colored part of the skin. I just colored the part of the skin that was sticking up to the same color as the shirt. Because the front and back portions of my model don't line up properly. At least on the skin layer. Just a little peek behind the mask, I guess. You have an issue with the bodysuit. That sounds rough. I don't know how to help you, Silva. All I know is it has to go somewhere on the skin layer. I don't know how to make it fit. Some things might not fit. They might be dependent on body shape or size. Some things may fit but don't align properly. I don't know. Well, in order to save CPU space, a lot of people do a very similar thing with Vroid, where they delete all the skin that's covered by clothing that doesn't show up in order to optimize the Vroid so it doesn't use as much CPU when it renders. So whenever you're optimizing a Vroid, you have to choose how much blurry and loss in image quality you want to put up with in order to get higher performance. And for me, because I'm not playing very demanding games, yeah, that's an important thing. Also, Vroid has a lot of tools for decreasing the material count, for decreasing your polygons and stuff, where you can very much optimize the avatar. And if I was using it for VR chat, yeah, and see, that's the thing. If I was using this avatar for VR chat, then yes, absolutely, I would be stripping it down to the bare minimum of polygons in order, and decreasing the bones and doing all that stuff in order to make everything as optimized as possible so I can move around in VR chat. I've heard vaguely, mostly through tutorials on how to optimize your character, but that having an optimized avatar is important. And it's funny, I hear about how important optimizing an avatar is from the videos that tell you how to optimize an avatar. It could all be a conspiracy by Big Optimizers Anonymous. And but for me, I'm not playing very demanding games. Yes, they do make good content. I'm not playing very demanding games. I'm not like I'm not even really gaming anymore. I'm working on game creation and writing. So I don't really feel the need to hyper optimize when I can just use the model as is and get the best quality out of it. Eh, hair got caught in my hoodie. Yeah, though I question sometimes if what I do counts as good content. Uh, anyway, um, it's a little after 9 p.m. where I am. So let's get this party started. Now, originally, I was planning for this to be an RPG Maker stream. It was going to be Monday was the writing stream, Friday was going to be the RPG Maker stream. That was the plan. Because I wanted to do both. But I've had a lot of ideas and stuff kicking around in my brain about writing that I really need to get out. And originally I came downstairs early because I was going to try to hash some of that out before stream, but I just couldn't get in the right headspace to hash it out. So I thought I would use my most precious resource, my ever trustworthy and ever supportive chat, to bounce ideas off of, and to work on what I'm working with. Sound like a plan, chat? Also, I started talking about this earlier, but I didn't finish. Yesterday, so Thursdays are weird because as soon as I get downstairs, we start anime night, right? And then we run anime night right till it's about time to start watching Critical Role. And then by the time Critical Role's over, I'm just like emotionally exhausted and drained. And it's hard for me to get up the energy after an intense episode of Critical Role to write. And so I always end up in the situation where I'm either skipping Thursdays or I'm writing the bare minimum on Thursdays, and feeling the need to double up or increase my performance on Fridays to make up for it. And at some point, I need to either get a better schedule for that's exactly what I was saying, Silva. At some point, I either need to come downstairs earlier in order to get the writing done earlier, or I need to accept that Thursdays when there's Critical Role, I'm just not going to get writing done. And that's not a bad thing. It's just it's a decision I have to make. Yeah, I'm not saying one is preferable to the other. I'm just saying that at some point that's a decision that I just have to make, because this thing where I tried to write last night after. Well, okay. Also, Critical Role right now is in a really emotional arc. Like, I'm not gonna go into spoiler territory, but like right now, every episode of Critical Role is absolutely emotionally draining and just a trial on my heart, just because of what happened. Like last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, I legitimately cried at the end of I cried during an episode. Like, it has just been like, these are not normal episodes of Critical Role. Like, I know Critical Role is like normally emotional and intense and stuff. But like, this has just been brutal. Though in this past episode of Critical Role, there were a lot of NPCs on screen at once, that were like interacting with each other. So Silva, most Critical Role episodes are between 4 to 5 hours long. 3 hours is short for it, but I guess they must have been short in season 1. There are, I've heard that, yeah, but they did announce at Critical. Oh, so there's this. They on Amazon Prime, they have an animated show, Legend of Vox Machina, which is where they took their stories from the first campaign and they made it into an anime. Well, not anime, but an animated show. And season 1 deals with one of the big arcs that they have, and season 2, how they announced it? They said season 2 is coming. They're working on season 2 or something. And they just got greenlit for season 3. So they have a lot of material. And as someone really told me, like the first 20 or so episodes of campaign 1 of Critical Role were like borderline unwatchable. If you go back and compare it to what you watch now for Critical Role, because for those first few episodes, it wasn't a show. It was just them putting a camera down at a table, and there was all the normal like ahs and ahs and like, but like there was all the stuff you get with a D&D group where like sometimes characters forget their backstory, they may not be taking notes, and just stuff doesn't super, just from what I've heard, it's like it's not super great the first 20 episodes or so. I tried listening to Critical Role episode 1, season 1, or season 1, episode 1, or whatever, campaign 1, whatever you want to call it. I tried listening to it as a podcast, and I got like part way through the first season listening to it as podcasts, the first campaign. I didn't have anything to latch onto. So like I watched the first episode of Legend of Vox Machina, which is the animated show I was telling you about. And like the thing is, Legend of Vox Machina, I think I've talked about it before, is very much an adult show. I live in a house with kids, and even though the kids weren't there, it still did not feel comfortable watching an episode that had all of these adult scenes and adult references on the TV in the middle of the living room. Like it just did not feel comfortable. I might get over it and do it sometime if I have time to myself when nobody else is home. Hey Jay, how are you doing? We were just chatting about stuff, about Dungeons and Dragons, and about watching shows and Critical Role. I don't know if you've heard of Critical Role. It's this show where a bunch of voice actors play Dungeons and Dragons, and I love watching it on Thursday nights. And like it takes so much time. Like every episode, that's true. That is true. That's an option, but I do enjoy being immersed in the experience. I go to this other streamer's Discord where we have live reacts where we're all reacting together to the episode, which is fun. Anyway. D&D D&D takes a lot. Hey Goldfish, how are you doing? I don't know about doing a D&D night. I'm in a lot. I play in a D&D game now, and I'm in a lot of games, and I just have a lot of stuff on my plate right now that I'm not ready to run another D&D game right now. Anyway, let's get over to the writing stream. That is not what I want. Where's my... Oh. Why is... There we go. Okay. Alright. Like, nothing is open. Hey, Okusen! Yes, definitely loading, Goldfish. Yes, definitely scuff moments. Alright, let me move this. Alright, so today we are doing some brainstorming, then we're gonna get to writing, okay? I need to really flesh out Rosicrucius and their plan for the world. They're the villains for my story. Because if I don't flesh them out, I'm not going to be able to develop a resistance, because how can I write a group that's resisting Rosicrucius if I don't have outlined specifically what Rosicrucius is doing that calls for resistances, especially if there's been a resistance that's been fighting for a while. So I asked a friend of mine about it, a friend of mine who's more experienced in writing punk stuff and has more experience with these kind of stories, and they highlighted these questions that I need to answer, and I've answered them a little bit. Hold on. Why is... Here we go. Cool. Alright, so... Oh, also, let me update... I have to update the word count. That's not the actual word count. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Goldfish. So, I have all these theories and ideas for how to outline what Rosicrucius' plan is, and I need this to be outlined because we're going to be getting into the resistance phase of the story. But yeah, so first question. Who actually pulls the strings? A person, a council, the people with the most money, power, land, corporations? So the answer I have is that it's the businesses that make up the ruling council of Rosicrucius. I don't have names for those businesses, and I may need to come up with those names. And a number of them. How many of them? But I have to line that up. But yeah, so I know it's the businesses. Who is suffering because of the poor? Because of them, the poor, the deviants, or the environment. This is to identify what groups are going to be drawn to a rebellion or resistance. And so in this story, I'm talking about how because of Rosicrucius' actions of reintroducing scarcity and a unified money system, it is caused everyone, especially those not directly affiliated with them, to suffer. Um, but their current plan, right, where they intend to exterminate everyone who's not able-bodied and on board with their capitalistic plan, uh, that it's going to be everybody suffering, well, everyone who's not able-bodied and on board with their plan. So everyone who disagrees with them whatsoever. How are they suffering mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, economically? My answer I had was that this feels like one of my weakest answers. Mirkulum, which is the thing that they use to accelerate the growth of their super plants, right? Was previously given out freely, but ration Rosicrucius added a cost to it and set the cost so high that only businesses and the rich and powerful can afford it. Now everyone has to work to survive, and if you cannot work, you cannot survive. That is feels like it's understanding what's happening here, where it's um they're trying to exterminate not just the people who aren't able-bodied. Yeah, it's very dystopic. They're not just trying to get rid of all of the able-bodied people, but they're trying to get rid of all the people who have skills um that they don't deem that capitalism doesn't deem productive. I think that's well, I think that goes more into here. But so how are they suffering? Well, there's the emotion, there's monetarily, because there's the economic suffering because uh if you don't have a marketable skill, uh you are just left out in the cold. Why do they do what they do? What do they want? So, my answer was the businesses want to have power. They want to funnel resources into costly research that would develop into new technologies that will never benefit the working class. They want to shape the world into their own image. So that's the key driving force here, is that Rosicrucius wants the world to fit into their worldview, and anything that doesn't fit in their worldview, they want to be exterminated. But and this is a government. Well, the thing is, all dystopian governments to some degree want that basic thing. They want things that fit within their worldview to succeed, and things that don't fit within their worldview they want gone. But the twist here is that this is a dystopian government that is actively, well, it's not that they're actively trying to do it, because that's not new, but they're being very public about it. But they're also I didn't think about this. They're also gaslighting humanity by saying it's humanity's fault for stagnating. So they're gaslighting society while exterminating people. What do they need to accomplish all they want to do? Alright, boop. They need the public to be supportive of their actions. They need people fighting each other for the limited slots in the survival bunkers instead of fighting them to stop all of this. They need people to just go with the flow and not question what they are told. They need this bomb and its amplification platform to be built quickly and efficiently. So that's dealing with the current crisis, but also that part about they need people to just go with the flow and do what they're told is what they need overall, even besides the bomb. It's like it feels like there's two sides here. There's what they've been doing, which is what people were resisting against. I might need to do this twice for one of like in order to get an idea of the rebellions. Um, in order to get an idea of what the rebels have been up to better flesh them out. Because if I'm going to be fleshing out these rebellion groups, um, I need to have a better idea of the enemy they were opposing. So what would hurt them the most? The people uniting against them. Protests and rallies that grind business as usual to an absolute halt will make people think. This one I haven't really thought out besides make people stop and think. Um so um one of the things that my friend had asked me was also to consider, are these rebels okay with killing people? Because if they are, it opens up an entire new avenue for what kind of rebels they are. What do you say if the R&D facilities of the bomb are stopped? Yes, exactly, Goldfish. That's definitely true. So then after this, I was trying to outline here um I had to do a bunch of research. I was doing a bunch of research the other day about how money was developed in order to think, okay, what would Rosa Crucius be doing in order to reintroduce capitalism to a utopian society? Um, which the idea here is that before Rosa Crucius made this move, there was a very simple society. Most businesses or companies traded in bartering for simple goods, but most stuff that was made fairly freely because all of everyone's needs were met. Right? If anyone ever really wanted something like food, shelter, and that kind of stuff, they could just grow it at home with the miraculum they got rationed to them by the government. Which I don't know what this says about my thoughts on utopian societies. I think so what this leads to is there's so many revolutions that I have to really think about here, right? Because um Rosa Crucius started as a revolutionary movement, right? So Rosa Crucius is a rebellion that won. and then installed themselves and then became the new dystopian dictator. And it's just been hard for me to come up with plans and stuff. I've been trying to outline how the money would have been reintroduced, what that would do, how they would have kicked off businesses, and so on. And one of the key points that Rosicrucius used in his propaganda. Actually, let me hold on. Blah, blah, blah. So let's because I haven't fleshed out a lot of the stuff about the previous government. I've left them kind of vague, and I might end up leaving them vague, but I think it's worthwhile. Blah, blah, blah. And then boom. Worthwhile to have this, 'cause I think I'm going to copy this a few times. Okay. And I've been trying to plan out what the timeline is for what Rosicrucius did. Right. So the idea here is the previous government before Rosicrucius, all the government mostly did was manage and maintain the factories for producing miraculum, as well as the production facilities for producing the seeds for everything, right? And if anybody ever needed anything, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. One of the people I live with wanted to talk to me about something. And it was Pelly. He's been on stream here before, and he was asking me if I had a display port on the side of my laptop, which I don't. But he said he has an old monitor that maybe I could use as a second screen. But he's gonna see if it has an adapter for running DisplayPort into HDMI to see about adding uh, setting that up so I could have a second screen to keep track of chat and uh, monitor stream and stuff and all that. We'll see. We'll see. That's not a tonight thing. That's a later thing. Anyway, so yeah, definitely goldfish. See, the thing, like, for all of the frustrations and terrifying things about where I live, the people I live with. Hey, Words Fall Rights. Good to see you. How are you doing? The thing is, the place where I live, the people I live with really care about me and will do a lot of stuff in order to help me out. All right, so we are currently brainstorming some ideas for a novel I'm currently working on, and I was just sharing some stuff about my villains, and that's what we were working on. But Words Fall Rights. No, I'm not doing Nano. That's the one where you like the National Novelist Writing Month or something. Oh, you said I can call you Autumn? Okay. No, I've been working on this project for a while. So I started a writing challenge for myself that where I challenge myself. Well, because I already have a novel I'm working on, and I've like the national thing is like that's not till November, right? I'm not. So the thing with the novel writing month is that it's supposed to be like a sprint to get 50,000 words down in a month. And my entire style, like my writing challenge for myself is to write 200 words a day. Yeah, so I think it's November is National Novelist Writing Month. No. Yeah, it's weird. It has some acronym for it, but I've seen people talk about it. But yeah, Nano Remo. Yeah, Nano Wemo. Yeah, or something like that. And the entire concept is to get a lot of words on paper really fast and to write a lot of words. Like I was watching, I think it was like Brian Sanderson or whatever, some famous novelist on YouTube was had a like a primer for people who were doing that like it was like last year or the year before, where he was explaining it and he was saying that comes out to being about 1,700 words a day in order to get that 50,000 words down in 1 month. And that's not my speed. That's not how I'm comfortable writing. My challenge is to get at least 200 words on page. I average between 300 to 900 words down, and I'm okay with that average. For me, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Does that make sense, Autumn? So one of the things that what's his name was talking about in his primer for National Novel Writing Month was that, hey, and that's okay. That's okay, Autumn. Um, is that in order to complete that challenge, you have to turn all of your self-editing off because your goal is to get a full um your entire goal is to get 50,000 word transcript done in 30 days. I can't remember how many days are in November. Right. It's you want to have a cohesive story together in 1 month. Um and I say more power to the people who can do that. But yeah, so what are you working on, Autumn? What kind of projects are you working on? You said you're a slow writer. Do you have any work in progresses that you're tinkering around with? Oh, you do have a plot. That's cool. If you ever want to share your writing in my Discord, I think a link to it just popped up in the chat from the Stream Elements thing. We do have a writer's corner where if you ever want to share your stuff, I'm not promising people are going to read it, but sometimes they do, and it's a chance to share your stuff with other people. I normally post something up there every 7 days or so. But that's cool. I'm glad that you're planning a book. Are you gonna try to challenge yourself to do the National Novel Writing Month, Autumn? Ah, that's exciting. Um, uh, you do it every year? Oh, okay. Have you ever completed it? Have you ever gotten the 50,000 words down? Oh, so you have completed the oh my gosh, I have honestly never completed a full novel transcript before. This project right here where I'm at, what's my word count at? It's not the 21,000. What am I at? My current word count is 22,000. Oh, you have one that you're rewriting? That's great, Autumn. 22,089 words. Okay. All right. That's great. I'm proud of you. That takes a lot. That takes a lot of effort, especially for a slow writer to put something together in that amount of time. Sounds like you had to do a lot of training to get out of your comfort zone. Sounds like a lot of prep work. Okay. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take these questions that my friend gave me to use for outlining and defining a rebel group. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to approach them from, I guess I should probably give you a quick rundown of the story that I'm writing, Autumn, so that way you're not completely lost here. Yeah, you know what? We haven't done a rundown of the story in a while. So, the entire concept here is the story takes place in the year 4001. No, there is no romance in this story, which is really, at least not yet, not that I plan on it there being any romance, which is really funny, Autumn, because I grew up on romance novels. I grew up on my mother's romance novels. And I always used to, I dreamed of becoming a romance novelist. I used to read books and guides and tutorials that I would find at the library or at local bookstores for how to be a romance novelist, which is really funny. Yes, bruh. Though I am curious, Autumn, how did you find my stream? Did you see my tweet about when I tweeted out the stream, or you just find me randomly on YouTube? Oh, hey, thanks, Pelly. That's Pelly, the person who was talking to me earlier. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I think that's the right adapter. We'll get that monitor hooked up sometime. Oh, that's funny, Pelly. It's I'm glad the part wasn't expensive. You looked up writing and looked for live streams. Oh, okay. I don't imagine that it's a very popular live streaming target. Did you find any other live streams where people were live streaming writing? Oh, but there were other ones. That gives me some hope that I'm not alone. There are other people who stream writing. So, in honor of having a new person here, we are going to run down the story really quick. Oh my gosh, I always forget this. Hold up. Open my notes. Which I need to put in the intro. I need to put in the intro somewhere. But so on this planet that the story takes place, I don't think I'm much different, except it's not dono messages, it's just regular messages that I keep getting distracted by. I had an appointment with my psychiatrist the other day, and She was like, "How has the attention span been? Like, are you still seeing yourself getting distracted and losing track of things?" And I'm like, "It's kind of getting better." Because if I tell her that things aren't getting better, she's gonna be like, "Do you want to get some like?" She said there's some kind of therapy for it. And I'm like, I don't know how comfortable I am with that because some point, like, I'm scared it's gonna be something like outlandish, weird. I've I've heard horror stories of some kinds of things. Maybe it'll be helpful. I don't know. If it persists and I keep getting so easily distracted, um, maybe I'll talk to my psychiatrist about it. But anyway, story. So, this story takes place on a planet with only one supercontinent that's named Planta, in the country of Plantare. And on this world, they have all manner of technology, but all of their technology is based on plants. Everything is some kind of plant. It is like a cyberpunk world with all kinds of plants, except instead of cars, they have airships. Well, they usually ride their bicycle places. And we get introduced to the main character in the first chapter, Hazel Adelia, who's an airship pilot. And at the start of the story, he's getting his, like, we follow him as he's starting his morning routine, getting his breakfast, reading his newspaper before work, and he sees in the newspaper an announcement that says, "Government declares humanity a failure, announces plan to end all human life." They just straight up announce the apocalypse in the newspaper. And then the story breaks down into him trying to see how he feels about that, but then he still has to go to work. He still has to go do his job. He still has to go do his job and maintain his income. But the world is ending, and he gets a couple extra deliveries added to his airship because he's an airship pilot who flies short-range deliveries. Yes, Pelly. Bioengineering, planetary sustainability, all about that. All of their technology is biodegradable. Everything is some kind of plant. Nothing is made with metal. Nothing burns. There is no if you notice, while there are heating elements, they do have heat cabbage you snap like a glow stick that will then produce heat. You'll notice in the story that there's never any fire. Nothing ever actually bursts into flame. So everything is some kind of plant. Hazel sees that the end of human life has been announced in the newspaper, has to deal with going to work. He gets a couple extra deliveries added to his route because two of his coworkers refuse to come into work. One of those deliveries takes him to the government capitol, where he sees all the people protesting, and it really makes him question a lot of what he's doing. And another one, he goes to this place called Fox Coffee, which is this special coffee shop, and he has an encounter with this individual, who you find out later is a rebel leader. And Yu invites Hazel to come to an informational meeting where they're going to be sharing information with the populace to try to answer some of people's questions, which is actually a cover because Yu's organization, the Rotten Fighters, are also trying to recruit people from this informational meeting. The meeting itself is in chapter 2, which the meeting starts going out of control because people are so emotional and lost, and then Hazel after getting nudged by his friend Fern, is able to take charge of the meeting and get everyone's attention, and is able to get the meeting back to flowing in a orderly fashion instead of breaking out into a mob of panic. And after the meeting, Hazel gets recruited because of his ability to take control of the crowd and to seemingly lead people. He gets recruited, and then he gets told, like, listen, we need your help, but we need to make sure you don't act like some kind of big charismatic leader, which is kind of a weird juxtaposition because that's why they recruited him. And they make reference to this mysterious individual, the Revolutionary. They say that they need him to not become the next revolutionary. And then the story jumps over to our secondary main character, who's an air pirate. Her name is Grief Stormblood. And instead of introducing her the same way we introduced Hazel, where we, instead of following her around, we instead follow a ship that she's attacking right before and then during and then after the attack. Well, after the attack, it follows her instead, after she gets introduced. So, yeah, that that also served to introduce some of the weaponry and equipment in the world. In case you haven't noticed, it's kind of a sci-fi, borderline fantasy, kind of techno-babble magic kind of stuff. But like I said, everything's some kind of plant. Everything was grown somewhere or is some kind of specially treated bioengineered plant. And you find out that this air pirate, Grief Stormblood, operates this flying city called Domus, and all of their flying technology is based on these big hydrogen balloons that they strap to the sides of their ship that in no way should actually be able to lift up a full-size ship, but we're kind of stretching it a little bit. We're having a little bit of fun here. That's where the fantasy, the hoodwink comes in. There's no way that that devices this size should be able to hold up a full-size ship. And I acknowledge that. I fully acknowledge that. But as the author, I make the executive decision to ignore that. It sounds so bad when I say it. And so after that, she retreats back to the city and unloads the supplies she gets. Exactly, Goldfish. Authorial decisions. So she gets back to the city. Is able to and you find out more about her in the city. She gets the newspaper that Hazel had gotten. Well, not the exact newspaper, but like a newspaper carrying the same story. And you find out more about her worldview, where she believes that humanity is at a dead end. That every technological advancement, every new thing that gets introduced, is nothing more than a way to meet a need that some other new advancement created. And that advancements in science and technology are not actually pushing humanity forward into any new developments. You learn more about the history of this world. You find out that there was a revolution 20 years ago, and this new government, Rosa Crucius, was installed. And this is somehow connected to the air pirate. And yeah, we learn more about her, and she says that she believes that humanity's at a dead end, but she doesn't believe that the government has the backbone in order to actually exterminate humanity. So she correctly assumes that it's some kind of a play for something different. You meet her first mate who has this deep belief that she's destined for something so much greater. And then after that we jump back to dealing with Hazel and you talking through the night after the meeting, and Hazel is giving Hazel this history lesson, which this part I might actually need to edit as I work on laying out a lot of stuff about the world. So this chapter right here might get some changes. One thing I hate about my word processor is that there's no way for me to like have it not select the chapter names whenever I do my word count. Like I tried setting them in the borders, in the margins, but it still counts them for the word count. I love this word processor. I use OpenOffice. That's the logo that's in my thumbnail. So we get this, a brief overview about this history. And Yu informs Hazel that he needs Hazel to unite the other rebel groups, the other rebel factions, by their ideals, not with the strength of his personality. And then after that, we go through a period of time where we're exploring Hazel going to all of these three rebel leaders for these other three rebel organizations, and learning what it is that they're after, what they want, if they like saying, if you join up with this joined united rebel front, what do you want? And he gets this list of demands, and they all of them successfully convince Hazel that their goals, their things they want, are very important and are worth chasing after. And one notable thing is that he at no point tries to dissuade them. He is instantly sold on what they're saying, which is like trying to show how he's so easily swayed at this point. But also the people are not inspired. They feel good because it feels like someone is listening to them. Then the actual negotiation after all of that, the actual negotiation takes place, and no actual negotiation happens, partially because I don't know a lot about negotiation. I don't know a lot about business mergers, so I kind of brushed over a lot of it. I don't know anything about running a rebel organization. So this is going to be some of the stuff that I'm probably going to be editing a little bit here as I'm working through some stuff. Dealing with fleshing out the rebel organizations, what they're after, and also what the villain is actually doing. Because there has to be a thing for the people to rebel against. And if the idea is these are separate rebel organizations that have previously been rebelling against Rosicrucius that are now coming together to work together, then there has to be reasons. And then we get some more stuff where we're exploring this conversation between Phlox, Grief Stormblood's first mate, and Grief Stormblood, where he's expressing that he thinks that she's destined for greatness, and he also lets her know that Rosicrucius is looking for her. And that they're looking for her with an offer. They want her to help them complete their task, which is the extermination of humanity. she doesn't want to help them because she knows that they have some kind of ulterior motive. She knows they're not actually going to exterminate humanity. Then, well, you know, I really need to do a video of this where I just make a video of me explaining the story, so I can say, "Hey, go watch that video. I have a video explaining it all." Not that I don't enjoy telling my story, but it's getting to be a lot, and as this gets longer, it's gonna keep getting to be a lot. So what she tells him, what Grief tells her first mate, is that if he can come up with a way for them to play Rosicrucius, to help Rosicrucius while still chasing their own goals, she'll play along. But he needs to come up with something, and that is going to be the next thing that happens there. Exactly, Nekomaji. And yes, Goldfish, have an elevator pitch, a really quick story, and then a paragraph for the back of the book. And then we have now we're on the chapter we're working on right now, in which Hazel is dealing with an identity crisis, in which he was just trying to be a negotiator, but now these different groups, because they felt like he was listening to them, they felt like he understood them, and they want a leader that will listen to them and that will understand what they are doing, and that will be sympathetic to their plight. They want him in a leadership position, and he's trying to foist it off on anyone he can, but he's realizing slowly that he can't foist this off because there's some part of him that really wants this. And then eventually, he finally cracks open this journal he was given, which is a redacted copy of the Revolutionary's journal. You find out the Revolutionary was some mysterious leader who was an important part of the original revolution, and so that's this big reveal that you find out about the history, and he has this journal from the Revolutionary that he finally cracks open in order to learn more about what the Revolutionary went through. And that got me thinking, I can't really define what the Revolutionary went through if I don't know what happened during that previous revolution. So then I have to know what happened in that point in time. Ooh, okay. So yeah, that's the story so far. All right, so the old government I'm going to keep intentionally vague because I want them to be the long lost, like, mythical days of the past. Who actually pulls the strings? So this is something I guess I'll put to chat to see what thoughts you have, because I love bouncing ideas off of chat. So now I'm defining the old government as something that Rosicrucius rebelled against. Which means I do have to define some of these past long lost mythical days. The idea is that under the old government, everyone had all of their basic needs met. Everyone had shelter, everyone had food, everyone had clothing, and everyone had some limited form of entertainment. Well, some form of entertainment. So then, with those needs met, like, what would people be doing? Like, we saw in the pandemic where people were told to stay home, that people started creating things. People started making YouTube channels. People started baking. A lot of people started baking. So what happens if you have an entire society that they're not being told to stay in one place, but they have everything they want? I mean, they have everything they need. So the idea here is that what I'm trying to get at is that this thing that the businesses had no scarcity with which to use to leverage their products. Okay. Mm-hmm. But then how did that motivate people to rebel? Mm. Hmm. Whoops. Whoops. I meant to press up and I was pressing shift. No, I don't want to turn on sticky keys. So, but what the people don't know is that uh, Rosicrucius has been acting in the background and has been hampering all scientific development. So any new inventions that do get made are being snatched up, are being brought into the fold, are being like are being controlled or hidden or stolen by Rosicrucius. So they're trying to foster this boredom in order to stir up emotion, in order to stir up people. Mm-hmm. So this what I'm describing is the old government. The old government was a borderline utopian government that Rosicrucius resisted against. But I guess does it seem sinister? I mean, they the main thing that the government handles is they handle the production of miraculum, um, which is the special miracle grow that lets the plants grow in like extremely rapidly. Yes, that is that is Rosicrucius's entire bag. That their entire thing. They gaslight people into thinking that they did it to themselves while still doing these terrible things. Like the old government was running this utopian society that would have been even better had the scientific um, developments that were developed actually seen the light of day, but Rosicrucius was acting in the background, holding them back in order to try to stir up humanity. And then after Rosicrucius got into power, they then released. Yes, that's it really well. Like they were. Yes, then they released the Kraken Silva. Um, so then when Rosicrucius took power, they released all of the scientific developments that they'd been hiding for all of these for the last 1,000 years. Um, and they released all this new and advanced scientific development that they had been sitting on and they'd been researching in secret, um, using stolen miraculum and other resources that they managed to sneak past the rationing system. Um, and it makes it look like they were right. It makes it look like Rosicrucius was right, and that by adding a cost to things, by reintroducing money, it's going to introduce all of these new scientific developments because life changed very, very rapidly. So what would hurt them the most if someone stirred up the people? So my idea for the bomb that Rosicrucius is putting together is that Rosicrucius is using existing weapons technology, and they're having researchers put it together, but in exchange for like working on this project, in exchange for showing their loyalty by serving the government, these people believe that they will be guaranteed a spot in the bunkers where 10% of humanity will get to survive the explosion and rebuild society afterwards. That's what I'm going with, Goldfish. What do you think? Like, I think that seems like a good motivator for why someone would be willing, like, because there's this thought that, like, if it's not me working on this, it's going to be somebody else. But if I work on it, then that means that me and my family get to survive. Thank you, Autumn. Yes, exactly. I also have to remember that some stuff I can leave a mystery, some stuff I don't have to outline completely, because like some stuff I can't hand wave. Oh, it's okay, Autumn. Uh Sometimes I ask for audience attention. Sometimes the audience makes comments on things I say. Um in a lot of ways, there's a like this is kind of a chill stream. Some people keep me on the background where they work on their own writing, with the lo-fi music playing in the background. Um, yeah, this is just, I don't know, do you watch a lot of streams, Autumn? Then again, I say that I don't watch a lot of, mainly on Twitch. Oh, okay. I realize this isn't the most engaging content, but it's mine. Yeah, sometimes I ask chat for stuff like if I'm doing a random number, if I'm doing a random generator of something, I'll ask chat for numbers of like how many times should I press the generate button and then work with whatever the prompt gives me. Okay. Okay. So I have a general idea of how all of this starts. We had a general idea of what the old government did. And how Rosicrucius rebelled. They stirred up people, they inspired people because the people were bored. They had a surplus of things and a surplus of time. Normal operations. So some of this will be the same between the normal operations and the bomb stuff. Okay. Not all of them. Okay, so it's made up of a council of the owners of the largest businesses. There's not one giant. It's not a council that's like 100 some odd members. It's a small council because we want to concentrate power and have an easily personified threat. Who's suffering? Those unable to work, and those without marketable skills. Oh, the counter on the top left. Hey, Gravitron 3000. That's the current word count for my first draft of the novel I'm working on. Right now I'm taking some notes, working on some ideas, and stuff before I go back to actually writing more stuff on the novel. But that's what that's doing. How are you doing? How are you doing, Gavitron? Okay, so, uh, oh, it's no problem, Gavitron. I'm glad to have you. I hope that whatever you're working on, whatever projects or things that you've got going on in your life, that they go well for you. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Now, before I started doing writing streams, whenever I was doing gaming streams, I would normally be ending right about now anyway. But since I started doing the writing streams, since it was a lot less energy involved, um, I've been going longer, which is why I tend to go later. And I'm sorry if for some people it's a bit too late. But I do hope that whatever you've got going for you in your early morning shift goes well for you, Gavitron. Good night. Okay. So, why do they do what they want? They want power, they want resources, they want to be in charge. What do they need to accomplish all they want to do? They need people to give up and do what they're told. Which is like any dystopian government, just needs you to fall in line. But what else do they really need? They need to maintain control of Miraculum. Because if Miraculum and the seeds, which it's amazing. It wasn't until the other day when I was writing that I thought about, hey, where are people getting seeds? Because you can't grow. You need plant food. You need soil. You need sunlight. You need seeds. I was like, oh wait. uh... What would hurt them the most? Losing public support. Losing exclusivity with Miraculum. So that's what the rebel groups would be doing, trying to sway public support. then let's look at my other rebel groups. This is before the bomb. Let's look at my other rebel groups I came up with. And see what they were doing. I had the Rotten Fighters that are a relatively new group. Oh, is Project Demon one of your things? Oh, that's the one you're working on, the one you said you were rewriting. Are you a member of... Did you join my Discord? Oh, hello. Hello, Autumn. If you post it in the artwork under Artist's Playground, I could see it, and if you're okay with it, I could share it on stream. Oh, this is the one that you're planning for the National Novel Writing Month. Okay. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of audience participation. Oh, you posted it? Are you okay with me sharing it on stream? Where did you get this art from? Or did you do it yourself? Ah. Oh, so you Googled the art? Do you know who the artist is, just so I can reference them? hop over. Let me get to the image display. Come on. Here we go, image. Okay. So I would definitely suggest being careful with just pulling art from the internet, because some people aren't okay with their art being being transformed or used for other projects. Oh, I understand. So yeah, this looks really cool. This definitely looks like a cool like thriller or something. Definitely looks great. Yeah, definitely Nekomaji. But yeah, great job. Okay. Okay. I'm glad you have the plot, so you have everything lined up, so you have all your tools ready for National Novel Writer Month. All right, so if you you can share it here, or you can put it in the writers corner on Discord if you want, and I can read it if you'd like. Whatever, up to you, Autumn. I don't know. Is there like does YouTube set a limit on word count in comments or stream things? All right, well, whatever you find easier to do to get the general idea of your plot. All right, so I promised a little bit of audience participation. Audience, I need a number between 1 and 10. And actually, I need two numbers between 1 and 10. So everyone suggest one, and I'll pick two of them. Goldfish popped in with a 9. Autumn popped in with a 2. All right. So this is what I mean when I say sometimes we have audience participation. All right, so this is a random generator. This randomly generates inspirational quotes. Oh, your nephew is 2. Okay. So that number you gave me will be the number of times I press the generate button, and then I'm going to take down the quote, and I'm somehow going to try to incorporate that quote into the story I'm writing as something that the character reads inside the Revolutionary's journal. So we're going to do the 9 first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one. If you can't, I don't know how well this just shows on screen, but it says try respecting authority. Okay. This is why I love random generators. It always gives me something crazy. That is oddly specific. All right. All right. Try respecting authority. I can see some ways to apply that. But first, let's see what the second one is. Because I'm going to have for the next part where he's going to pick up some phrase that he's going to use, getting from the Revolutionary's Journal. So now the other number was 2, so I'm going to press it twice. 1. What? Wait. What? Alright, hold on. Before I do redo here, is there a way I can make this phrase work as some kind of a phrase used by a highly motivated revolutionary leader? Hello, Kyle. We're using a random generator to come up with phrases. That's true. I could go into that. I haven't really explored the character's past beyond that, but the image is hilarious. Is everyone okay if I redo this one though? Because I feel like using it might... Yeah. Alright, let's redo this. Reroll. Okay. 1, 2. Ooh. Ooh, that's a zinger. That's a zinger. What do you think, chat? I definitely agree, Goldfish. I'm not sure if that's something that I'm relevant that not I'm relevant. I'm not sure if that's something that I'm ready to explore about the character. I'll write down the other one just in case I come up with a place to use it later. But first, you're trying to figure out the meaning. What, of this one? Or the other one? With this one? Mm-hmm. So what I'm taking, I'm trying to figure out, like, these are things that the main character is going to find. Not human sacrifice. Well, I guess it kind of eventually becomes human sacrifice, but not like in a ritualistic kind of way. Um, if you don't have something that you have, like, it's attributing the concept of sacrifice, like making sacrifices to achieve your goals, with having a thing that you have to do. If you have no duty, if you have no requirements, nothing that you are required to do, then you will never make sacrifices in order to achieve those goals. Kind of. Mhm. But the idea that it's not, I think the idea it's getting at is that there's not true sacrifice unless it's towards fulfilling some duty. But I do like that one. Yes, Dio sacrificed his humanity, but he didn't really have a duty. So my other idea for try respecting authority, right? Is that Okay, so I figured out how to work with the try respecting authority part. Um, and that is that um, true authority rests with the people, and the government must respect that. And then that's one way to put it, Nekomaji. Hmm. All right, let's get some words on the paper. We've been jotting stuff. We've been brainstorming. Let's get some words on the paper tonight. Let's see how many words we can get down in the next half hour. I don't know if we're gonna make the full 200 or 400 or whatever I was aiming for, but we'll see what comes out. Okay. Hmm. It does kind of count, but I do still want to get some words down on the actual thing, on the actual draft. Actually, let me get one last thing down because I had a thought and I want to get that down. Let me just get this idea I have real quick. There we go. Let me just jot something down. sorry. I just wanted to get something down real quick in my notes. Give me just a second. There we go. Something I'm getting down the stuff that I've been talking about how Rosa Crucius was I don't have my notes front and center, so you can't even see what I'm typing. Oh my goodness. Scuff. So what I'm doing right now, let me just put this back front and center. Add. So what I'm doing right now is I'm outlining what Rosicrucius did as they took power. First thing they did was they built more Miraculum factories, releases the technology developments they'd been sitting on. Then up here earlier, I named the coin, which I'm going to have to find a way to work that in probably in the second draft. That the money is called million coin, or mil for short, because you need 1,000,000. It costs 1,000,000 coins to get 1 barrel of Miraculum. But no one ever gets 1,000,000 coins. Then after the revolution. So the idea here is that the money has value because if you get 1,000,000 coins, you can trade it in for one barrel of Miraculum. Don't ask me how much this translates to into actual dollars. I'm not going to be getting into the minutia of cents and prices. I say that now, but watch me do it like in 2 weeks. But I'm not planning to develop like a full price list of how much things cost in coin. But I think I'm going to go with this. Businesses. Yeah. Nuts, sickles, galleons. Yeah. We're doing trade in specially made, specially imprinted pressed wooden coins. Does Harry ever learn how to count out change? Or does he really just hand people handfuls of coins? Because, like, that's one thing that I don't think we talk about much, is that Harry very much is a trust fund kid. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is an iconic scene. Okay. All right. So now I've got those notes down. It's fun having so many new people coming in today, though. It's very interesting. Having new faces join the stream. I hope for all of you who joined, you found for tonight's stream, you all had a fun time. I don't know if any of you subscribed. I think my alerts are broken. I have to check Stream Elements. I have to log back into that and see why that's not giving me any alerts for anything. But I hope you all like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell, all that normal stuff if you want to be kept up to date. Oh, you got to go, Autumn? All right, well, have a good night. It was great seeing you. Thanks for sharing your story. Oh, Autumn. No, 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 no. I'm not going for another like 20 minutes. Hold on. I just see you posted in the writer's corner the plot of your story. Are you okay with me reading this on stream? I realize we're all used to hearing like, comment, subscribe in the middle of the outro, so you hear it and you instantly think the video's over, right? Okay. Jetta Gray wants to break the social norms living in a society where demons and other non-human creatures are bad. There are orphans on the streets that are that the humans don't want because they just want human babies, and people believe that all non-human creatures are evil. A person secretly opens a hospital for the non-humans to live at. The man shows the non-human creature how to act and suppress their powers to be hidden and safe. Main character meets the love interest and it has to stay a secret. Why? Because the love interest isn't a good guy, and if the person in charge of the hospital where she stay at finds out, they will kick me out because the love interest is dangerous. It's okay. It's all right. It sounds like a really cool plot. Love interest is a bad boy, I see. How many so on the big bad council that runs the evil government, how many businesses should be represented? I want to say 7 because that gives a nice impersonal number. But it's not so large that I could never that I could never describe them. And also it's an odd number, so that way they can never get fully evenly split on a decision. I'm not a big fan of even numbers for it because I feel like they wouldn't want to get split on making a decision together since this is the ruling body. It's okay, Autumn. I welcome all ideas, even if I don't always. 5 is even. I'm just worried that 5 might be. Wait, no, 5 is not even. 5 is odd. Yeah, 7 is. Let's go with 7. I get what you meant, Autumn. It just took me for a loop because I read it and I was like, 75. Oh no. Top 7. Okay. Oh dear, Nekomashi. You did put the numbers together, but 75 is a bit too many for the ruling council. But then again, for a world government having 75 representatives, now you got me thinking. Now you got me thinking. Well, if each representative was from, because the idea here is that um hmm so the idea here that we're going with is that Rosicrucius wants to concentrate power. They want to concentrate power into a small, powerful group. Um, ooh, actually, I can run with something. Hold up. Hold on. I can run with something. I forgot that when I press numbers, it makes my avatar move around. So I can say that the Civil Oversight Committee is made of 75 members. So there's this other organization, the Civil Oversight Committee, that oversees the government, but they don't actually have any power. Well, they technically have all the power, but they never execute it, which is part of what makes this fall into this dystopian like future. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. My roommate just dropped by to say hi and do a quick chat. Ooh, how easy do I want the organization to break? Ooh. See, because of how I'm planning to end the novel, I hadn't really thought that far. But that might definitely be something to consider. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Am I back? Okay. Let's see what words we can get down for tonight. Actually, you know what? I think we're gonna call tonight. I think we're gonna call tonight and say that we got our words in from the notes because it's getting to 11:22. I want it to end about 11:30. So let's just wind down for now. Instead of trying to force out some words in the last like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? A small group has few openings, few weak points to strike, while a big one, while stronger, it has more spots to poke at. Ooh, that's definitely something to think about. I'm gonna put it in my notes. I put that question in my notes. So, all right, everybody, let's start winding down for the night. It's been definitely fun. We've seen some new faces. It's definitely exciting. That's also true. That I know that feeling, Nekomaji. Oh my gosh. So, does anybody have any fun plans for this weekend? Any things they're working on this weekend? Any fun plans and adventures? Also to maybe planning. Oh, well, I hope you get some good planning in. My usual game night on Saturday, that's about it, but it's always fun. That's great, Nekomaji. Also, Nekomaji. So, I know that you came up with the nickname Nabiru for Hattie's stream, and Silva refers to you as Nabiru. I'm not sure if I've ever asked this. Do you prefer if I call you Nekomaji, or do you prefer if I call you Nabiru? Reworked my novella and its plot a lot. Now I have to do the actual work of writing it. Hey, that's definitely a powerful step. I was asking if it was one or the other. Yes is not the... You saying I can call you Nabiru? Well, it's the name of a Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? It's the name of the thing that you drop, the hand trap. When your opponent. Hold on. I think there might be some problems happening with the stream. I'm having connection issues. Come on, don't do this to me now. Why am I dropping frames? I'm dropping frames. Okay, there we go. I'm no longer dropping frames. That's good. It's funny, as soon as I open YouTube to check on the stream, it starts telling me I'm dropping frames. I'm like, what are you doing? What's happening? Okay, Nabaru. I just got so used to calling you Nekomachi. Yes, Goldfish, I'm dropping frames. Yes, it's the thing you do when your opponent summons a bunch of monsters in one turn. Yeah, well, I just wanted to give you that option. I just wanted to give you that option if you didn't want that to be what I called you. I remember I was there for that, actually. I was in that. I was watching that stream when that happened. Has anyone ever explained that to her that that's what you meant, or you're just letting her go blissfully unaware? Oh my gosh. I might get some more writing done after stream is over, but I don't want to keep you all dragged out here. I'll still be up for another couple hours, but I don't want to be dragging people out whenever they got stuff to do. And when I'm probably going to be faffing about flipping between Twitter. Oh, it's Nibiru and you spelled it Nabiru. Oh my gosh. So now your nickname isn't Nibiru, your nickname is Nabiru. Oh goodness gravy. Oh goodness gravy. So to all the new people that drop by, seems like I've been getting a good bit of new people coming through recently. Oh, it does fit your play style. Okay, that's good. That's good, Nabaru. I hope that this was enjoyable. I know we didn't really get to actually see me put any words onto my first draft. Didn't see that word counter go up. So the word counter doesn't automatically go up. I have to manually edit it. So we didn't see the word counter go up, but we did get to hear about stories of some other people. We got to meet some new people. We fleshed out a lot of stuff about the backstories of the characters. And I think overall, this was a successful night. What do you think, chat? Thumbs up from Goldfish. That's good. So now, Autumn, this is me. This is me getting ready to sign off. Yeah. Yeah, definitely Nabaru. And we got those 2 phrases. We got those phrases that are going to be introduced in the next part of the story. They're going to be phrases that well, at least one of them will be a phrase that the main character picks up. And we play with. Not sure how well it'll sit or how it'll ride, but we'll play with it. Oh, I'll probably have an RPG Maker stream on Monday. That's gonna be my next stream. Is gonna be Monday. Probably do RPG Maker and show off some of the puzzles I've been working on. Well, the puzzle I've been working on, the singular puzzle, and work on some more maps with RPG Maker. For those of you who showed up for writing streams tonight, maybe that'll do your interest. There's a game called RPG Maker that one of my viewers, Okusen, got me, which I can use, which I'm currently using to make a video game. That is also something else I'm working on. That's probably what I'm going to go tinker with as soon as I'm done with stream. I try to work on that at least a little bit every week. Maybe not every day like my writing, but definitely at least a little bit every week. With that said, let's wind down here. I want to say to everyone who showed up to stream, to Okusen, Goldfish, Autumn, Nabiru, Silva, I think there was a Kyle, Jay, Pelly, and anyone else who showed up for stream today, and also people who watched the VOD, and to any lurkers or people who didn't say anything in chat, I want to say to each and every one of you that I love each and every one of you, and I believe in you. I think that you are wonderful, you're outstanding, and each and every one of you makes this world better just by being in it. And I am grateful for the opportunity to live in a world with you in it. I think that all of you are precious, wonderful, and important. And I am grateful to have you all in this community, and I thank you for spending your time with me on this stream, or for people who watch the VOD later, for watching this VOD. And I think you're all great. Always remember the motto: to shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always, always, always stop to enjoy the memes. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, there's a link to my Discord as well as my Twitter in the description. I'm very active on Twitter. If you ever feel motivated to give to improve my life or improve the stream, there are links where you can do that in the description as well. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Good night, everybody. Bye.